Hey, 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 it's your girl Jasmine with Simply Jazzy by Design, and we are back with another tutorial. Today's video, we're going to cover creating frames in Canva. So this is for when you want to add a little extra spice to any design you have. I'm going to show you how you can create your own custom frames that can be used in Canva. You'll be able to add color, pictures, and even videos once these are created. So, of course, we're going to need a Canva account, which I have mine open here on our screen. You're also going to need access to PowerPoint. And depending on what you're using, you may need access to be able to convert a file to SVG. Today, I'll be using Silhouette Studio in order to make some adjustments as needed. For today's video, I will be using some graphics from Creative Fabrica. If you guys don't have it, it is amazing. Go get it. Get your subscription. Use it. I promise you will not be disappointed. So we're going to go on over to Creative Fabrica. In order to save and create your own frames, you need SVGs or vectors. So basically, you need to be able to have a shape that is either one color or fillable so that we can turn it into a photo. For today's video, I'll show you a couple of different ones. Let's start out with something fun. It is graduation season, so let's get us a senior 2023 design. So we're just going to type in senior SVG. Like I said, we want to do an SVG, so we're going to start there. And I'm just going to scroll around and see what I like. And still looking. Give me one moment, guys. I am very picky, which probably is not the greatest thing. But for the sake of this video, so that we can go ahead and just keep moving, let's use this one here. It's 2023 senior. We'll select it, open it up, and download it. That's going to go ahead and download to my files. I'll go to my downloads and extract it. Make it easier for when we're ready to open it. Now, you can do one of two things. From here, since you do have the SVG, you can go ahead and take it straight to PowerPoint and continue on to make it into a frame. Because I'm very particular and I want to make sure that each component of our design we're able to add a separate frame and separate pictures and colors, I'm going to go into Silhouette Studio and make some adjustments. So I have my Silhouette window open here. We're going to go to File. I just have a regular 11.5 by 8.5. I believe that's my page size right now. Let's double check. No, it's actually a little bit bigger. So let's make it just a regular 8.5 by 11. I don't know why I say 11.5. So we've changed our page size. We're going to go to File and Merge. And I extracted that, didn't I? Okay, here it is. And we're just going to open the SVG. All right, here's our design. And it's already separated. Great. Awesome. Like I said, in this case, nothing needs to be done. I'm going to resize it just because I want it to be resized. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be on this page anyway. So it really doesn't matter because we're going to take it over to PowerPoint. I wanted to make sure that each one of these components that had the numbers and the senior were all separate, which it already is. But I also want to go into this 2023 and ungroup those and make each one of those its own individual file. Now that everything is separated, you can go back in and group everything together. You don't have to. Now we're going to file, save as, save to hard drive. I usually save everything back in my downloads. It really doesn't matter. We're going to save this as SVG. Now I do have business edition. That is why I go ahead and make my adjustments in Silhouette Studio because I have business edition. And so I can save this as SVG. If you don't, then you may need to use a file converter to convert your files, or you'll just have to use the SVGs as they are. All right, I'm going to name this Senior 2023 hat, or cap, that's a cap. All right, and this is my SVG version of it. Version of it. Please excuse me, guys. Kind of late here on my end, but I wanted to get this video out for you. All right, and we'll save it. Now we'll go over to our PowerPoint. I typically just leave this screen open at all times. I don't worry about anything additional. I don't worry about saving anything. I just keep this one PowerPoint open to make all of my frames as I see so fit. So we're going to go to Insert, Pictures from this device. And we're going to bring in our file that we just saved, our SVG, and we'll insert it. All right, so since we did have that off the page some, let's go make that adjustment. Because it was off the page, it went ahead and it didn't save it. So that's one of the reasons I usually select everything and just do save selection. But for the sake of this, we'll just go ahead and change the sizing and save it again. Save as. No, file. Save as to hard drive. SVG. And Senior Cap 2023. We're going to override that. Yes. All right. Since we've saved that again, once again, we're going to go back to PowerPoint, insert our picture, the Senior 2023 Cap. Now we have that full picture. The first thing we're going to do once we bring that picture in is while it is still highlighted, let's right click and convert to shape. And now we see each of our individual components, our hat, our 2, 0, 2, 3, and senior are all individual components. We'll select all of those and go up here to our drawing panel. And right here with this little paint bucket is our shape fill. We'll select our arrow down and we want to fill it with a picture. You can go in and select any picture that you have. I'll typically go ahead and go to my downloads because I keep some kind of picture up at the top. I usually use this exact same one. It really does not matter. Just fill it with the picture and insert. And now you see that all of these words are now filled with a picture. It does not matter what it looks like. We just want to be able to save it this way. Now that you have filled these shapes, we're going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to browse and put everything, like I said, in my download folder. We want to save this as a PDF. And I am going to name this the same thing, Senior, if I can spell today, 2023 Cap Frame. This is our actual frame. And we'll save it. Now that we've created our frame, like I said, I'll leave this window open. I usually just go from here. I'll just delete this and have it ready for the next one. Let's go ahead and move on over to Canva. And we'll open a new document, create a design, and I just want to do 8.5 by 11. Because that is what we saved in, but it really doesn't matter. It's only going to save the file. So we're going to go ahead to Uploads. And we're going to upload files. And we want to find that Senior 2023 cap frame that we just saved. When you click open, it is going to move that to your folders. I'm sorry, to your projects. When I first open my files, my frames, I save them to my folder. So here it is. I want to move to folder, frames, move to folder. It makes it a lot easier to find your documents and things later to save it now versus waiting until you have more time or whatever the case may be. And now I'll just go over to my folders and frames. And here is our 2023 cap frame. We'll just click it. And it brings it over to our document. We can go ahead and highlight all that, make it bigger. And actually, it took our senior, each individual letter of senior, and made that its own as well. So once you have it on your screen, we need to do some cleaning up. So first thing is you're going to need to select each item and delete. On some of them, you may have to delete twice. This file just went straight through. Sometimes you'll make frames with things that have multiple pieces, and you may have to, like I said, delete it twice. So it looks like senior did separate, which is perfectly fine. Some other things separated as well. It's not a big deal. What we'll do, put it back together. So we'll take this and we'll shift to this little piece and group them. That is one frame. This looks like this separated two. This little piece of two. Not sure I didn't get it. You might even let me select it. We have to move this up just a hair in order to take care of that. Another way you could do that. I'm sorry. I realize I'm whispering now. Sometimes when I'm thinking about stuff, my voice goes down. So you can move it out the way, select it, and then move it back. But it's still selected, and then delete it. And it's still selected, which is awesome. Shift with our two and group that. We'll take our senior and take all of these pieces and group those. All right, so now, of course, the telltale sign that you have a frame is the, what is that called? Horizon, the little clouds in the grass, it's a frame. To make it easier to see, I like to usually add a black background just so that I can see my pieces and my components. Now that you have a frame, you can do whatever you want with it. So maybe you have someone's pictures that you want to use, you can do that. If you want to just add some color, you can do that. So let's say this person is using red and gold. I may want to add some red to the cap. And now that's filled. So it didn't take to where it filled in both pieces. That's some playing around that you may have to do when you are creating your design. What you'll have to do is actually make those one piece. So that is where, like I said, having a system like Silhouette or even Cricut Design Space, I believe it's called, comes in handy to be able to adjust those SVGs before you put them in. So only thing you would have to do is go back in and take these shapes and highlight them and merge, what is the word I'm trying to use? You just need to make them one shape. So you would need to weld them together or convert to a shape so that it stays all together in one piece. But not a big deal. You can just add the color there as well. So if you want to use gold, add some gold. Maybe you want to add the gold. Oh, I like that bright gold. To the senior part. And we did see that these words, these letters are all separate. Not a big deal. Just add it in as you see so fit to your frame. All right. I got my red cap. I got my senior in gold. That's one of the reasons why I like to use frames because you're able to get a true color on some things. So like gold, you can't typically put in a hex code for gold. It doesn't come out with the shimmer. It doesn't come out with the metallic look. So when you're able to actually fill it with this color, if you were doing sublimation, that would pop and be so vibrant. All right, so let's just take some random pictures. See what we got. Right, so just for the sake of this video, let's use this guy. We want to put him in some numbers. Oh man, I can't see his face. How do you fix that? Double click on it. First click off of it and then double click on it. And you'll be able to you can resize your photo to be able to move it around so that you can put it where you want to be able to see what you want. Got him in there. Let's see what else we got. We can add her. So I clicked it twice, didn't mean to. Add her to our 0. Cut her face in there. We want to move her, make it a bit bigger just so we can move her up some off of that senior. Her face is in there. Same with this young lady. I'm double clicking it, I don't know why. Add her to it. Once again, if you need to make adjustments, you can do so. And just for the sake of it, we'll add you, ma'am, to our last one. And of course, make it bigger in order to be able to adjust it. And however you see so fit to put the person's face in there, put the person's color. Maybe you want to add a video. That is an option as well. You can put videos inside of them. If it was something that was going to be playing on a screen, you could put a video inside of that frame. Whatever the case may be, you can fill it with whatever you want. Color, textures, videos, whatever. You have a frame to where you can add whatever custom you want. All right, so now that we went over using a regular SVG to make a frame, let's try the same thing with some fonts. So we're gonna go back over to Silhouette. I use the exact same, I have what I have saved as a letter layout, which is just the ABCs. And I've made them to where they're all spaced out, good enough to where I can make the font as I see so fit. For the sake of this video, we'll save some time. What I usually do, my letter font is select them all, go to my fonts, select whatever font I decide to use, and that's it. Since you're using a system that you're able to save it as an SVG, you don't have to do anything else. Make sure that every letter is its own individual form. If you decided that you wanted to do a phrase, then you can write out a phrase. Go to your words. Type out a phrase, happy. I'll take my caps off so that you can see it like in a script. You can take that happy with the script font. Now with this, because it is loopy, you would need to go and weld it so that it's all together. Once again, save that as an SVG. For the sake of this video, we're going to be using these letters here, which it is like a type of subway graphic font that I love so much to do subway graphic stuff. So I already have all of my letters typed out, the full alphabet, so that I can use all of it. And it's all, we're going to go ahead and save this as an SVG. So file. Once again, we did learn that if it's outside the page, it didn't save correctly. So everything is within our page dimensions. File, save as, save to hard drive. I'll save it to my downloads as an SVG. And I'm going to replace what I've used earlier. So we're just going to name it street font and replace the one we used earlier. that I used earlier. I'm sorry. From there, back to PowerPoint, insert our picture from this device, our street font, insert. Now, because we did this in Silhouette Studio, I had my lines turned off. So there's no actual line. If you've used Silhouette Studio before, you know that if you don't change the actual size of your lines, then there's nothing there. So they're at zero. That is why it looks this way. It's perfectly fine. Before you click off of your design, you see it's all highlighted, something's in there. Right click and convert to shape, and bam, everything just pops up. There's our letters. Then we want to go ahead and select everything again. With PowerPoint, you do have to go all the way to the top. Select everything again. Of course, it wants to play games. Okay, we got everything. And go to our fill panel, fill with picture from file. We're going to use our same picture. Got all of those fields. File, save as, browse. Make this a PDF. Save it wherever you want to. Like I said, I did this a little bit earlier for a job that I was doing, so I'm just going to show you guys how to do it as well. So now we're going to go back to Canva, and I just added a page to where we're already working. Uploads, upload file, street font frame. Once again, it's going to drop that right into your projects. I'm going to move it to my frames folder. Here we go. And here it is. You can make them a little bit bigger if you want, whatever, they're in there. All right, so then you can go in, like I said, and delete. This is one of the ones where you'll have to delete twice. So you will have to click it and hit, I don't know what I just hit. Hit delete twice on each one and just click it, delete. I'm just hitting delete on my actual keyboard to make it a little bit easier. And you just keep doing that to clear everything. And then, like I said, you get that telltale layout. Just bear with me while I clean this up. All right, so now you have the whole all the frames for that. We'll go ahead and select it just so we can make it a little bit bigger. Go and flip a page, why not? And like I said before, I like to make my background black to make it easier to see. So we have a whole font of alphabets. This font here only comes in capitals. So that is why I only did it in capital. If you need it lowercase, same thing, type it out. If you want to do certain words, you can do it that way as well. I like to do it this way so that I have these all in case I need them. I can go back and save them all individually and create all individual frames. Awesome. So for the sake of, let me show you what all you can do with them. I am going to duplicate this page, and I am from the good old DF and W. So let's make some playing around with tell lists. I'm just going to delete all the other letters that I don't need. And we're going to duplicate our L and that A. Right, next we're going to take it, and we have D, A, move them as close as you want. T-A-L. Want these touching, so move on over. C-A-L-L-A-S. Dallas. We're going to select them and make sure that they're centered. So we just tidy it up. Make sure that they are all straight. Now that they're all straight across, we're going to go ahead and make it bigger and fill up this page or fill up from side to side. Now that we have all of our frames situated, let's go to Elements and type in Dallas. See what kind of skyline we got. Let's go back to Photos. Okay, I like this really big picture of the skyline, so let's use it. So I wanted to go straight across and I want to see the picture straight across. Now, since these are all separate frames, we can't just put it in by itself. So in order for it to read from left to right, the way that you would see it, we're going to have to duplicate this design and make some adjustments. So the easiest way to do that is to make it a little bit smaller. And we're going to duplicate it and fill each of our frames separately. So we have 6 letters, so we'll duplicate this 5 times. And we'll actually go ahead and put those inside of our frames. And I know you're thinking, wait, you said we're going to see the skyline. We will. So now that we have them all filled, we're going to make some adjustments. So you'll just double click on the letter. You're going to upsize this until it reaches from side to side, and we'll bring her up right to the bottom of it. Making sure that you have to find your anchor points. So the bottom of this, making sure it goes all the way from the right side to the left side to the right side, filling from all the way across, and the bottom of the design being the anchor point. So there's our D. We'll do the same with the A. Fill it all the way across, with the bottom of it being the anchor point, making sure it goes from side to side. Release. Read that with all your letters. Making sure you stay with the same thing. Side to side, bottom being the anchor. Side to side, bottom being the anchor. And last but not least, the S. Side to side. The bottom being the anchor. This. And so now it goes all the way across. And you have your design all the way across as if it was one frame. So if you do decide, just so you can see, undo that. You can go ahead and select all of these and group. And we're going to lock them as we do this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And position to back. Look, can you see the difference? See how that works? Letters right on top and you can't even tell because it blends in so well because you lined it up so perfect. So perfect. It like snaps right on in because it fits right in because it's anchored that way. So you have your full thing across and maybe you want to add a background, a sunset. Oops, wrong thing. Sunset. And you have your letters laid out just like that. And that's how it works out, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You have now learned how to create some custom frames. This method works with any shape. Any shape that you can convert to an SVG, you can make a frame. So I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Please feel free to send me some comments. Let me know what you guys come up with. I would love to see your frames. Thank you for sticking with me. Once again, my name is Jasmine with Simply Jazzy by Design. Thank you for keeping it jazzy. Have a great day.